Update. Am I the a-hole for canceling my wedding? Original story. Over the past year and a half, my fiancé Jose, male 27, and I, female 25, have been planning a wedding for July of 2021. We've been together for 10 years and have lived together for 3 years. Jose and I both don't like the pomp and circumstance of weddings, and we're hoping to have a low-key and expensive one. My family, however, wanted something bigger. My mother has expressed to me just how much she's living through me in having this wedding. I have expressed to her plenty that social situations trigger my anxiety. She doesn't care. Jose and I gave in last year and agreed to marry in a church and have the big reception she wanted. Jose made sure if we were going to do this, my parents would pay for both the venue and the church fee. They agreed. Planning was stressful, and it caused a lot of tension between Jose and I. It turns out the stress wasn't coming from the planning itself. It was the wedding as a whole. With my therapist's help, we identified that being a bride embodied many things my mother berated me for growing up and acted as triggers for my CPTSD. I came forward with my reservations to my mother. Her response was to gaslight me about my therapist's diagnosis and insist on the wedding happening the way we planned it. She joked that I could take some CBD or have a drink to stay calm during the wedding. She has also begun drinking to avoid confronting her feelings and regards it as the only thing she has that's hers. She does not take it seriously, and my father won't help. I found out that the private conversations I have had with my father about her drinking were shared with her. It got bad enough that at my bridal shower, she had 18 beers and berated my sister-in-law for calling her out on drunkenly crap-talking my brother to family. Mind you, Jose's side of the family does not drink, as they've lost their grandfather to alcoholism. I feel horrible they were put in the position to having to watch her. When trying to make amends between my sister-in-law and her, she decided to take me on a car ride in which she screamed at, gaslit, and berated me for accusing her of being an alcoholic. She apologized for this half-heartedly, expecting me to forgive her and move on. As a result, I've gone no contact with her. Jose and I made calls and canceled the big wedding altogether and are instead going to quietly get married at the Courthouse this Saturday with a small group present. Half of the deposit from the venue is non-refundable, but we decided to take a small personal loan to make sure we don't owe my parents anything at the end of this. His side of family is completely on board, while mine is sending emails and pleading with me to be a better person and make up with her. I know I've made a lot of missteps in this. I should have set my boundaries much earlier in this mess and stayed firm in not having the wedding. I wanted to hear from an unbiased party whether I am being unreasonable. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Your family are the a-holes here. They forgot that the wedding is about the bride and groom and not everyone there. In extreme case, it may also extend to being about the kids if they're really young and really important to the relationship, but probably not applicable here. Anyways, the moment you had reservations, your mom should have dropped everything to figure out a way to accommodate your concerns. When she fled from her duty to do that, she lost her right to complain about any of this. Enjoy your Courthouse wedding, Opie. Sorry for all the strife. My mother had straight up told me that the wedding wasn't supposed to be for us. It's a celebration for the family. One of the emails I'd received from my aunts was, verbatim, "You know, the wedding is a chance for us to celebrate you. Please don't go off and elope and deprive us of that privilege." Yes, a wedding is a chance for the family to celebrate the union of a couple. However, it should never be the expense of what the couple wants. If the couple getting married wants a low-key no-pomp shindig, that is their right. You can't change the past. So don't beat yourself up about boundaries now. You've put them in place and learned a lesson. Just make sure you keep them in place should you decide to go down the path of kids. Not an a-hole. Why is it the person wronged has to be the bigger person? Just do what's best for you and your partner. That expectation is because the one wronged is the only one who might be willing to be the bigger person. It's a lot harder to get the offender to mend their ways. Bad expectation though. Edit. I'm floored, honestly, at how much traction this has gotten in the past few hours. I can't begin to thank you all enough for your words of kindness and guidance in this very strange time. When I made this post, I think I had expected to get more of a mixed response. But reading all of the not the a-holes come in has admittedly thrown me for a loop. I've since subbed to many of the subreddits recommended to me by other survivors of narcissistic parents, and cannot thank you enough for y'all taking time out of your day to reach out. Jose and I will be remaining no contact with my mother and family going forward, and can't wait until the smaller, more intimate wedding this Saturday. For some needed context that's popped up in the comments a few times, the car ride I went on with my mother was not while she was drunk. And trying to meet the character limit on the post, I neglected to mention this was on a separate day from the shower. I apologize if that's misled anyone. And now for the update. Yesterday, I married the love of my life and partner of 10 years in a quiet little backyard ceremony. 15 people were there, friends, family, and Jose's immediate family. The ceremony took all of 15 minutes thanks to our amazing justice of the peace. And the celebration was fun. Casual conversation over a simple sandwich lunch. We got to catch up with friends we haven't seen since the pandemic started, as well as make fun memories with the people willing to understand and love us without judgment. My mother, in response to finding out I've gone no contact with the family and planned a private wedding without her, sent one of my aunts screaming at me the day before the wedding over email. Catholic guilt, gaslighting, the whole shebang. I went all in on telling my family exactly what I felt and dealt with in regards to my mother and them. They had the audacity to invent a story that Jose is nothing but a controlling abuser that deleted her first email. He's trying to steal me away from them and convince me it was the truth. They want me to forgive my mom and be the bigger person, even after detailing the extent of her behavior to them. I tore my aunt a new one over email, citing them all, my grandmother included, as cowards for not coming to me to tell me the alleged truth about Jose before, offering pomp, circumstance, and praise for getting married to him. It's funny how quickly the narrative shifted from, oh, think of your poor mother, to, you poor, stupid child running into the arms of a horrible man, to, you're a monster for canceling your family. The block button has been my best friend. Within the last 72 hours, I've learned exactly what kind of family I was raised in. In a way, I mourned that it had to be like this. No contact with the people I thought were supposed to love me. What I have realized is their brand of love is conditional. My mother also demanded the money back for the venue, and we sent a check to her. She still has chosen not to cash it. We have ample documentation to prove we have provided her that check. Jose is warning her in writing to cash that check by the 21st, or else we will stop that check and pay back the loan. Thank you all to the kind Redditors that have reached out offering words of encouragement and resources for coping with narcissistic, toxic family. Jose and I thrilled to finally have had this wedding on our own, surrounded by the people that matter most to us. They had the audacity to invent a story that Jose is nothing but a controlling abuser that deleted her first email. He's trying to steal me away from them and convince me it was the truth. Projection much? Congrats on the wedding! And starting the family you two are going to build together off on the right foot by surrounding yourselves with genuinely supportive people. My family accused my husband of the same crap when he stood up to them while they were going after me on social media. Projecting is just second nature to people like that. Over a simple sandwich lunch. I love this. Forget overcooked salmon and dried chicken. Give me some wedding Sammies. Me too. Bonus points if there is pie for dessert. We had cookies and a cannoli cake. Congratulations on your wedding. I'm glad you two could have your day the way you wanted to. Toxic families suck, but it sounds like you've at least married into a much kinder, more loving family. Best of luck to you both in all your future endeavors. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for uninviting someone to my wedding? Just this morning, one of my fiancé's friends sent a very nasty message into their group chat stating that he was upset and hurt for not being part of our wedding party. Mind you, he was asked. He was not at the same time as the others because I added another bridesmaid to my party, so our parties were uneven. He caused a huge stink about it in their group with other people stating that my fiancé was an a-hole and didn't communicate anything to him, and that he lied about everything. He told my fiancé that he will not be coming to the wedding because of this. I in turn asked him to call me because I'm not having any of this. He told me that my fiancé lied to him and didn't tell him anything. To my knowledge, we don't need to give reasons why we did not ask someone to be in our bridal party. He told me he doesn't want to be a replacement or a substitute for anyone who would bail on us. Mind you, no one bailed. We had originally asked one of our friends and his fiancé to be in our party, but they could not make it because they recently moved out of the state. At this time, they don't know if they can make it across the country to attend our wedding. We understand and are not upset or hurt by their decisions. I explained this to him, and he said that wasn't the point. He said he's upset that he wasn't originally asked to be in the bridal party. He can 100% be upset, and his feelings are valid. I'm sure a lot of people are upset that they weren't asked either. But we had a lot of tough decisions due to COVID, and we had to make a lot of cuts in our entire guest list altogether. On the phone, I told him that this is not about him. It's about me and my fiancé. This is our wedding, not his. I told him that if he thinks that my fiancé didn't approach the situation correctly, then he also is not approaching it correctly. My fiancé attempted to ask him if he was upset about anything because he told our friends he was upset. He told him no. Then right before he hung up the phone, he told him why he was upset. Although he did not give anyone any time to explain because he hung up. Throughout the phone call, he kept reiterating that he isn't making this about him, though his actions say otherwise. At the end of my phone call, I asked him, "Are you coming to the wedding?" He responded, "You're putting me on the spot?" I said yes. He then proceeded to hang up on me. After all of this, I removed him from our guest list. I don't want that kind of energy at my wedding. I will be happy to add him back if he apologizes to me and my fiancé as well as our friends for causing a scene. Am I the a-hole for removing him from our guest list? Edit. Please note that we asked the person and their partner to be in our bridal party who is no longer in the state. This person who is upset is my friend as well. I am not just uninviting someone who I have no relationship with. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. He can 100% be upset and his feelings are valid. I'm sure a lot of people are upset that they weren't asked either, but we have a lot of tough decisions due to COVID and we have to make a lot of cuts in our entire guest list altogether. This is the critical line for me, for a couple reasons. 1. You acknowledge the validity of his feelings. This shows you are genuine in your examination of the situation, rather than writing the person off whose opinion goes against yours. 2. Even if he legitimately feels slighted in this situation, his reaction is way out of proportion. A wedding is a celebration for adults. This guy's acting like a child. He told my fiancé that he will not be coming to the wedding because of this. Info. Why uninvite him if he'd already said he wasn't coming? He's the kind of person who could possibly decide he wants to come later because he changed his mind. The friend is right that he was asked as a backup, but he's a piece of work for creating a public stink about it. You should talk to your fiancé before kicking this guy from the wedding though, because it's not just my wedding. We talked about it. He said he doesn't want him there if he's going to act like this. Last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not moving my 22 female engagement party plans around for my friend, 21 female, who didn't respond until last minute notice? Recently, my boyfriend of 3 years proposed, and I thought it'd be nice to do some sort of dinner or small party to celebrate it. I planned it to be towards the end of June and let everybody know 2 months ago so people who were getting vaccinated had time to prepare. I let one of my friends from high school know, who I catch up with every once in a while. She's been going through mental health issues, and we would talk a few times each month. I sent her a text in April which she never opened on Snapchat, which is her only communication method since she doesn't like iMessage. I called her twice as well. One time where I called her after she called me and she answered, but there was silence and then she hung up. So I gave up trying after that because she didn't seem to care. I don't know what happened, but she was also active on Instagram too, posting often, so I left it at that. She finally opens the Snapchat 2 days ago and sends me tons of text on there, saying things like she wanted to come, like a week before it's supposed to happen. I couldn't really just change all my plans for her last minute since it wouldn't be fair for my guests already attending. My friend blows up when she starts questioning why I'm not accommodating her or making things easier for her to come and says I'm acting like a future bridezilla. I'll admit I do miss her and would have liked for her to come. She's also going through mental health issues, so she was also upset and crying. But I'm not sure what to do because I feel like she didn't care at the same time. Am I the a-hole if I don't move my engagement party plans around so my friend can come last minute notice? Edit. Thank you for the congratulations and well-wishing messages. I'm looking forward to being with my fiancé. And here's an example of the schedule/plans. For the girls, I was going to have a salon day where we could do nails, facials, massages, hair, etc., those sort of things. I called up the salon and we had an appointment made in May, and I'm not sure on their availability. So some places I had planned, I don't know how I'd work it out, because this was something I scheduled out for everybody to work out. I don't think it'd be fair to my other guests, so I asked if they'd like to come, when they either took a day off or moved their schedule around for this. This sudden change made it so everything would be affected for the people wanting to go, and I'm not uncertain how to go about that if she still wants to come. Not today, Hall. Are you serious? Why would you move it? Like, if she's this flaky just to contact, how do you know she'll even come if you accommodate her? This friend only communicates through Snap and refuses to use any other form of communication. Everyone else who was invited didn't have an issue. She's acting like a friendzilla. Entitled, thinking everyone else should inconvenience themselves to accommodate her. Not today, Hall. Your friend is acting like a child. Just tell her, sorry, it's too late to change the plans. I really hope you can make it. I'd ignore anything else she says. Not today, Hall. She was completely inconsiderate. She could have texted if she didn't want to speak, but at the same time experiencing mental health issues, so maybe cut her some slack. Tell her that your arrangements/plans are all set at this point, but you would love to see her and are happy to add a seat for her at dinner if she can make it. People put events on their calendars and schedule other things around them. It is ridiculous for her to expect you to move the date and inconvenience every invited guest to make it convenient for one guest.